This lesson, 2-3, is complementary and supplementary angles. So we're going to find measures of complementary and supplementary angles. The first thing we need to do is define what are complementary angles. First off, it's two angles. The sum of their measures is 90. And then we like to say that each angle is a complement of the other. So for example, I have angle A is 32 degrees, angle B is 52 degrees. I add them up, I get 90, so they are complementary angles. Supplementary angles, again, two angles. This time, the sum of their measures is 180. So again, we can say each angle is a supplement of the other. So if you try to remember that C comes before S in the alphabet, 90 is smaller than 180, so complement goes with 90, supplement 180. Okay? So we're going to identify complementary, supplementary, or neither. So the first thing you want to do is add up their measures. And this adds up to 180, so these are supplementary. I look at the next two, I add them up, and I get 100, so that is neither. The last one, I add those up, and I get 90, so they are complementary. Okay, so you have 3 to try. Make sure when you do these, you show me that you've added, that you've come up with a number, so it justifies your answer. So if you add the angle pairs together, in the first one you get 69, so that's a neither. The second one you add and you get 90, so they're complementary. Third one you add, get 180, they're supplementary. So now we're going to identify another vocabulary word. The vocabulary word this time is adjacent. Adjacent. And once again, it's two angles are adjacent if they share a common vertex and a side and have nothing on the inside common. And I'll show you what that looks like if they do. So, angle 1 and angle 2 are adjacent. They share that common side and they have a common vertex. So the first one here, we're going to tell whether the numbered angles are adjacent or non-adjacent. I do not have a common side. I don't share anything. This angle has its own side here, and this one has its own side there. So this would be non-adjacent. In B, both angles 3 and 4 share that ray, so these are adjacent. Angles 5 and 6, 5 has that side, 6 has that side. While they have a common vertex, they share the vertex, they do not share a common side, so these are non-adjacent. In our next example, we're going to give measures of complements and supplements. Remember, complements must add up to 90, and supplements must add up to 180. So first example, it says A is a complement. Complement. So that means that the two angles are going to add up to 90. So if A is 47, the measure of angle C is, subtract 47, 90 minus 47, which is 43. Supplements add up to 180. So if the measure of P is 36, the measure of angle R is 180 minus 36, which is 144. You have 2 to try. Check your work. First one, supplements, so you subtract 90 minus 79 equals 11, complements, 90 minus 79 equals 11. Second one, supplements, 180 minus 115 is 65. So now we're going to start our theorems. A theorem is a statement that can be proven from other statements. Okay, it's something that follows from other true statements. We have two theorems, one called the congruent complement theorem, and the other one's called the congruent supplement theorem. What they say is if you have two angles that are complements to the same angle, then that makes those two angles congruent. The same thing with supplements. If you have two angles that are supplements to the same angle, then those two angles are congruent. So we're going to look at this, and I know that 7 and 8 are supplementary. So that means the measure of 7 plus the measure of 8 equals 180. And I know the measure of angle 8 plus the measure of angle 9 equals 180. They're both supplements to angle 8, so I know that these two measures must be the same. So angle 7 is congruent to angle 9. And it's two angles supplements to the same angle. You try it with the example with complementary. So this follows the same with the supplementary theorem. You have measure of 10 plus a measure of 11 equals 90, and the measure of 11 plus the measure of 12 equals 90. So since they are both complements, 10 and 12 are both complements to 11, then they are congruent. Filling in our concept check. Can a pair of angles be both complementary and supplementary? Why or why not? So you have to think, can two angles add up to 90 and add up to 180? No. The sum of a pair of angles is either 90 or 180. It cannot be both.